So we got a trailer for the Thomas Crown Affair, the latest remake of this. There have been two so far, the original 1968 with Steve McQueen, and then the 1999 one starring Pierce Brosnan and the lovely Renee Russo. And did I forget to mention the lovely Faye Dunaway was in the 1968 version? Yes, she was. The movie came out before I was born, but I did see it. I'm going to render some opinions on those two films, and we're going to get into my trailer reaction on this one. And you're probably, why am I wearing sunglasses, right? Well, if you know the films and you know Steve McQueen and you know the original Thomas Crown Affair movie, you know about this jacket, the G9 Harrington Barracuda. It's a very famous jacket. It's one of my favorites actually in my collection, but this is a G9. This was worn by McQueen in that movie. It was made famous for plenty of other reasons, and it still remains an iconic jacket to this very day. As far as the glasses, these are the Steve McQueen, the Persol limited edition Steve McQueen 714 glasses that he wore in the Thomas Crown Affair. Yes, they are the frames, and they fold up, and they're made by Persol, and I am a fan of those. We'll get into whether I'm a fan of the movie or not, but let's get first to the trailer with the Michael B. Jordan version, starring Michael B. Jordan, directed by Michael B. Jordan. He's on a tear, isn't he? He's on a tear. Let's get into the actual trailer, and I will give you my thoughts on this and see on the other side. There he is. Very
I've been taking risks my entire life.
Very Christopher Nolan shot.
But last night,
very Christopher Nolan. That's like right out of Tenet, just in case you guys are not catching that.
it was different. I felt alive.
Christopher Nolan-esque, again, Tenet, right? With the bungee jumping on the top of the roof to the arms dealer in India with Robert Pattinson. You remember that?
My heart was racing.
Is it me? But so far, 3 or 4 references to Tenet already. Kenneth Branagh looking as he did in as Sator in Tenet, right?
Every step was part of a plan. Things slowed down.
Oh,
It was silent.
ow! That's gonna hurt. That's gonna leave a mark.
And I was surprised how easy it was. But I'm not finished yet.
Whew.
That's what excites me.
Tenet.
I just had to come over and introduce myself.
Whew.
Thomas Crown.
I know exactly
Oh.
what you are.
If you don't jump, can't catch me.
Oh. Nice. Okay. March 5th, next year. Good Lord. Okay, so that looked good. A lot of Nolan-esque stuff going on there. I don't know if Michael B. Jordan is taking some cues from Tenet. Great, incredibly, visually epic film, Tenet, right? Love it or hate it, plot-wise and story-wise, and whether you're able to follow is a whole nother thing. But cinematography, what's the word I was looking for? From a cinematic standpoint, great film. It would make sense if you took reference from that. Large format, blah, 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 whatever. So I did happen to pick up on a lot of those shots that were very Tenet-like. Now, that brings me into the other part of this film. So going back to the 1968 versus the 1999 film. The 68 film with Faye Dunaway as starring Steve McQueen as Thomas Crown and the lovely Faye Dunaway as the insurance investigator. We'll get to that in a second as well. I remember I've seen it twice. Now, in that film, he robs a bank in the beginning, and he's, this millionaire. They even say millionaire. So now it's up to billionaire, but he's a millionaire back then. And he's got the private jets and planes and all that stuff. He lives the posh lifestyle, jet setting kind of dude, suave, charming dude. And Faye Dunaway is the hot woman that is to investigate him and kind of blur the lines between a cat and mouse pursuit kind of thing with a criminal and an insurance investigator. So that's that film. The 1999 one with Pierce Brosnan and Renee Russo, anyway, we'll get to that in a second. But in that one, Pierce Brosnan plays a bored billionaire banker guy who essentially robs art for the hell of it, right? And that's what that film, the premise of that. And Rene Russo comes in as the insurance investigator to have the whole cat and mouse love affair, cops and robbers kind of thing with Pierce Brosnan. Now, it makes you wonder, like, insurance investigators, is that like they all look like that? Because good Lord, like Faye Dunaway, Rene Russo, I don't think I've ever lusted after Rene Russo per se, but in that movie, absolutely. In that movie, absolutely. And maybe a little bit in Get Shorty. I kind of thought she was cute. But anyway, the Thomas Crown Affair in 1999 one with Pierce Brosnan is my favorite one. Maybe that's because the other one came out before I was born. I saw it much later. So, but and I was also a big Pierce Brosnan as James Bond fan, right? Pierce Brosnan is the man, and from Remington Steele. So I've been a Brosnan fan, and I think that film, even more so than the original one, I think that Brosnan carried that role much better than McQueen did. Maybe that's sacrilege to some people. Maybe that's blasphemy. Let me know in the comments below if you're an old timer or somebody who thinks that the McQueen version was better. But I personally thought that the visuals in this one were better. I thought that Rene Russo, the relationship between the two of them, and there's a really steamy sex scene in that one with Rene, and that again just ups her stock more in that film. But I thought Brosnan had the gravitas and the swag, and that's just who he is, man. That's hard to capture. That's going to be hard to emulate. Not that Jordan is going to seek to emulate it, but he is playing that character, right? So it'll be difficult to pull it off with the same exact swag that Brosnan had. That's just my opinion. Now, I know there's people probably already wanting to clap back at me. Oh, you don't think Michael B. Jordan has the same swag as Pierce Brosnan? Personally speaking, if it were me, and I was doing this film, I think Denzel Washington, Idris Elba, obviously. And it makes you wonder, like, I know this is a B. Jordan film. He's directing it, his production company. Was it something that it was a passion project of his and he wanted the starring role? Or was there some other thing happening? Did the studio make decisions on casting? He is a hot commodity right now, and that's the way a lot of these things work. Was Idris Elba ever interested? Was he available? Could he have been? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm speculating right now. But my point is that I could have seen Idris Elba stepping into the shoes of Thomas Crown. It easily seen that. So in this one, the plot twist is slightly different. Thomas Crown in this one is going to be an art heist guy, but he's stealing art and giving back to, like, he's stealing. I think he's robbing already stolen artifacts, sort of like Killmonger when he steals the mask in the museum, and the woman is like mad at him, and he gives her the lecture on, all this stuff in this museum has been stolen from Africa or stolen from ancient peoples, indigenous populations and countries. So it's possible that this has a similar feel to it, a different vibe to it, where it's, he's a champion of returning lost or stolen items or pieces to different people, whatever it is. Kenneth Branagh is in this, and Kenneth Branagh looks amazingly like Sator in Tenet. It's not even a different look, same expression, same beard length and everything, same haircut. So we'll see what that's about. Now, the woman playing that role in this one is a woman. It's a new woman named what is her name? Adria Arjona. Oh my God. Woof. She's got a future. I think her father is a big Latin musician. Sold like 20 million albums. This guy, I didn't really know who he was. My wife knew who he was, but she got the role apparently after there was an issue with another young lady, up and coming actress named Taylor Russell, who the news on that was that there were creative differences. Now, go with me on this one. Creative differences can mean so many things, right? It could mean either that the actress had a problem with parts of the script or the role or some of the things that she would be required to handle in the actual role, or the production, the producers, Michael B. Jordan, the director, had a problem with her performances or the way she was, coming off on script. Whatever, could have been anything, right? Could have been something small, could have been something big. Who knows? But creative differences, she's out, and we got this other lovely young Puerto Rican woman in there. So now my guess could be maybe Michael B. Jordan was like, hey, that hot SEX scene from the 1999 version, we need to outdo that one. And maybe Taylor Russell was like, yeah, no, I'm not ready to go that far in my career. Maybe I don't want to do that. Or maybe it was the other way around. It could be the other way around. It could have been that the actress was like, hey, that scene in the 1999 version, that was pretty hot. You think we could replicate that? I don't mind getting nude. I don't mind. Let's do that. And Michael B. Jordan might have been like, yeah, no, we can't do that. So you don't know. Creative differences we're going to chalk it up to. But implore you, if you haven't seen the 1999 version, Pierce Brosnan and Rene Russo, and you haven't seen that, definitely see that film. And if you have seen it, but you haven't seen that sex scene in a while, go ahead and watch that. That was pretty, I almost forgot how crazy that was until I had seen it, rewatched it again a couple of years ago, as a matter of fact. And I was like, damn, I forgot how intense and how hot this sex scene is. It was like 9.5 weeks type of shit. Anyway, moving on. So my thing with this, besides what I just stated about the main character, the lead character, Thomas Crown, B. Jordan can handle it. Yes, I don't want to say that Michael B. Jordan can handle it. I'm saying I just saw an older person in the role and somebody with a little more swag than what Michael B. Jordan has. That does not mean Michael B. Jordan, I'm not saying he doesn't have swag. I'm saying in comparison to Idris Elba or even a Denzel, and Pierce Brosnan, white man, black man, doesn't make a difference. Okay, that's not what we're going on here. We're going on the swag and the gravitas of the actual actor and performing on screen. That would be my only issue. The other problem is, I shouldn't say it's my only issue, because that's not really an issue. I'm just illustrating a point. Now, the two issues I have, the problems that I foresee, are the writing, right? So you've got story with the original story is Alan Trustman. Okay, he's the guy who wrote the original Thomas Crown, and then the movies were made. And so the screenplay is by Drew Pearce and Jason Hall. Now it's an A&D, meaning two separate screenwriters, probably at two separate times, contributed to the script. If you don't know that, if you see the word A&D in between the two names, that means two separate writers at different times. If you see an ampersand, the symbol, and that means they both collaborated together and wrote the script. So whenever I see that it's two separate people, it kind of bugs me out and it gives me a little pause, a little hesitation. I get a little nervous, like, okay, this may not be good, right? Because it's not like one creative mind gelling together like the Wachowskis or something together on something, or, the Farley brothers or the Coens, right? It's not like that. It's just two separate writers that got brought in at some point and messed with a script. So there's that problem. And the other issue I see with this is the whole Tenet thing that I mentioned in the beginning of the action sequences, the bungee jumping and some of the shots that look like Michael B. Jordan's fighting and doing all this stuff. That wasn't part of either of the original films, right? They were very intense films, not based on fighting and theatrics and jumping around and being James Bond. It was really based on the character and the cat and mouse relationship between him and the leading lady. Again, 1999, Rene Russo, 1968, Faye Dunaway. That was the story. That was the essence of what kept you watching the screen. It was that between the writing there and the way it went back and forth, and both of the relationship between the two of them, the sexiness that was there, right? These good looking people. This seems to be going the direction of let's modernize it. Let's make it more action oriented, GoPro oriented for the kids, for this generation. Let's make Michael B. Jordan like a James Bond kind of character. And that kind of throws me a little bit. It may not turn out to be terrible. It might be good. We'll see. But it just gives me a little bit of pause. I wish he would have stuck to Michael B. Jordan and the lovely Puerto Rican woman, Adria Arjona. It would have been nice to see that it was really about that relationship. And it might be. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. But the action stuff gives me pause, thinking they're going to really lean into that more so. The direction, some of the shots look good, even though, again, they are very Nolan-esque, very Nolan-inspired. So that's fine. That's what directors do. It looks good. I think Michael B. Jordan is more than capable to handle this. So we'll see what happens. All right. That's it. That Guy Talks Movies. Thomas Crown Affair. I wanted to get on here and talk about it. A trailer dropped yesterday or something, so forgive me for being late. No one's actually sitting waiting for me to do a trailer reaction, are you anyway? Anyway, my subscribers who subscribe and who comment and like my videos, and you've stuck with me for this long, I appreciate y'all. Anyone who is not subscribed and you saw this video somehow, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Give me a like on the way out. Leave your comments below what you think. Do you have a favorite of the two that were originally done in 1968, 1999? What do you think? What do you think about my take on this? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.